Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to be taking a look at creating the photo frames. Let's have a look at the photo frame. Okay, so now if you can take a look at the primitive shape of this, right, we will straight away work with a polygon cube. Okay, so let me isolate this example, and with that polygon cube, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a bit of lines so that similar to our bed frame. Okay, you can create this little bit of inset in the middle, right? But with extra edges or extra lines that we have, we can also start to do a little bit of a curve or get a bump for the circumference of the photo frame. Okay, so let's take a look at the example of how we can actually come about to creating this photo frame. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll start with a polygon cube. Okay, so let's move our cube up. Oops. Okay, so what I find which is good for us to do is press F to focus, and let's just place this particular cube, okay, on the table or on the wall cabinet. So I'm just going to make it slightly floating, because once I start to scale, right, it's going to scale on the top and the bottom as well. Okay, so we can have a gauge on the size of this. Alright, so let me click on the bookmark. I'm going to go back to my camera. Now, so from here, what I'll do is I will start to just scale it up to have kind of a rough gauge, okay, of the size of this with reference to my CA objective, okay, to kind of gauge and visualize the size of what I want. Okay, so this is the size of the wall cabinet. Okay, this is the size that I want, and it's very close to the top frame of the image as well. Okay, so right, so once I scale it up, I'm going to move it up a bit, okay, and start to see what kind of size I can achieve with this. Okay, make it slightly thinner and make it slightly smaller as well. Okay, have a go again at the picture. Okay, there's a little bit of angle as well facing the camera, right, and I think it's going to be slightly move up as well. Okay, I have to zoom in to kind of see where it's cutting into the cabinet. Okay, let's put it nicely on the cabinet. Okay, so I think this is okay, quite an okay size, okay, to fit the image that we have. Okay, so this is the size that I've come up with is 7.9, 10.3, 1.24. Alright, so now I can start working on this. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so the photo frame itself also, it's not that thick. Okay, that should be ample enough. Now, so what I'll do is I will need some subdivision lines. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to increase, okay, subdivision width to 3, subdivision height to 3 as well. Okay, I don't need additional subdivision for the thickness, right? So this will do. Okay, so I'm going to start, click on the edges, double click. Okay, press shift, double click. I'm going to start to scale them out. Now in doing this, it's also kind of good for you to grab something of a actual object in real world to kind of have a go and see at how much the thickness of photo frames are, okay, to just kind of visualize or kind of help you visualize better, okay, when you're constructing your models. I'm going to make the circumference a little bit thicker. Right, so as a good gauge, okay, I always get a square face in the four corners. Okay, so right, this is great. Now, so the next thing what I'll do is I'll straight away go to the face. Okay, and I'll start to select this particular face, and I can just extrude. Okay, I'm gonna start pushing it inwards. Okay, I think that is a good enough depth. Right, so that will be okay, the inside, okay, the glass panel. Right, so if I want to start applying more detail on the circumference, what I'll need is I'll need to start drawing lines, okay, in between them. Right, so one way that I can do it is by simply using, okay, mesh tools, insert edge loop. Right, I can start to insert a center line in the middle here. Okay, so over here as well. Now I'm going to create a center line vertically across, so I'm going to put somewhere in the middle of this horizontal line. Right, so it's going to give me a vertical. So always remember, if you click on a horizontal line, okay, you're going to get a vertical line out of this tool. Okay, if you do a mistake, you can just press Z to cancel it out. Right, so now I have this. Okay, let me press W to escape the tool. I have these additional lines in between. Okay, right, just for discussion purpose, okay, what other tools can you use to actually draw all these middle lines? Okay, one of the tools that we have discussed before is, of course, right, the connect tool. Okay, that also works in creating all these center lines. Now, so once you have these lines, okay, all you need to do is just select the lines that is going across in the middle. These lines, here you go. So I'm selecting the lines or the edges that's kind of creating that framing, okay, in the middle of the surface. Now all I need to do is I don't have to use any of the tools, but just push it out with my move tool, okay, to start create that kind of bump in the middle of the photo frame. Okay, so that kind of works for me. Right, now if you feel that your photo frame is kind of thick, okay, looking like a book, let's isolate select this. Okay, you can either select, okay, go to the side view, select all the edges at the back and push it forward. Okay, or you can also select the faces at the back. Okay, all these faces and push it forward. Okay, whichever is much more convenient for you. Right, so what I'll do is I'm going to push it forward a little bit more. Okay, and there you have it. So this is my photo frame. Now, so I have one here. Right, so I'm going to just Control D to duplicate the second one. Right, so based on this composition, it's going to be facing straight up. Okay, so this is going to turn. It's going to be parallel with the cabinet. Now it's going to be slightly smaller in size. Right, so what I'll do is if I just start scaling, okay, right, you can kind of see quickly, Okay, and effectively I can get a smaller scale frame. Okay, so let's go back to our bookmark to have a look. Okay, so this should be slightly taller. Right, so let's have a look. I think I may have just overdo it a little bit on the height. Let me shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so there you go. Now it's going to be a bit slanted, so I'm just going to rotate it out. Just make sure that it's touching on the cabinet. Okay, and there you have it, my two photo frames. Okay, so this can just move forward slightly. There you go. Okay,